Welcome back to Cloudy with a Chance of Sprinkles. Today we're going to talk about how to make a galaxy cake, and it's galaxy on the inside and on the outside. First, you want to start out by separating your white cake batter into 3 different bowls to make your 3 different cake colors. Now, this is going to be a marble, so I also have some chocolate cake that I'm going to marble with it that we can color black, so we get the full galaxy feel on the inside and the outside. Now, I used a white velvet cake recipe from the Sugar Geek. She has an amazing recipe on her YouTube page. As long as it's white, it requires no egg yolks, which is what makes the color white. So it makes, when you throw in your food color, it's gonna come out exactly what you need it to be. To color the cake batter, you can use any gel food coloring is fine. I'm using some powder food colors here. They're the Master Elites from the Sugar Art, and they give a really nice potent color, which is awesome. When I do the next one and the other bowl, the purple one is just gonna be a gel food color from that one's the Chef Master. So any of those kinds of gel ones you are good to go with. Now, to get the black part of the cake, you're going to want a chocolate cake. Definitely have a darker colored cake. You don't want to take a white cake and try to put so much black food coloring in it that it turns black, because first of all, it won't look very black, and second of all, it might taste weird with so much food color in it. So use a chocolate cake mix here, and then mix in a little bit of black food coloring. It shouldn't take a ton, and then if you let it sit for a little bit, the color will develop even more to get you that dark black color for the galaxy. Now it's time to fill our cake pans. You're going to want all your color batter ready to go. You can see the black cake batter turned a little bit darker after some mixing. So that's going to look really amazing. And then you're just going to alternate between putting in all the different colors that you made. And then you can marble them in there using a toothpick, a cookie scribe, even a knife. I think I'm going to use a knife here to get that marbled effect to really look like a galaxy on the inside. Now, I had 3 of these layers. They were little 6-inch pans. Popped them into the oven after marbling them, and this is how they come out. So of course they're browned on the outside, but once we cut off the top, you guys are gonna see how amazing it looks on the inside. It'll look just like a galaxy. Look at that. It's so vibrant. I just love it. So once you cut off the top there to level it out, you can even cut off the sides and the bottom, like shave it off a little bit. I choose not to. I think it looks just fine when you cut into the cake if you don't cut the sides off. But I'm going to go ahead and do this with the other 2 layers that I have. Alright, so now we're going to stack and crumb coat these cakes. Put a little bit of buttercream on your cake board to make sure your base layer is nice and stabilized. Put some buttercream and spread it out on that first cake layer. And then we'll just stack the second cake layer on. Repeat the process of putting some buttercream on top of the second layer. And then I've got a third layer to put on. So of course you're going to want some buttercream in between all of your different cake layers. Now, once you have your top layer on, you're going to put some buttercream on top, just like you were doing in between the layers, and then you can start putting it on the sides as well and kind of work your way down. This is your crumb coat, so it's not meant to be a super thick coat here. It's just meant to catch all the crumbs to make sure when you put on your decorative layer of buttercream that you don't get any crumbs mixed in, so it can be nice and smooth. I really focus on getting the connection points, I guess you could say, of the cake layers because that needs to be nice and secure, and that is kind of where you'll need to be spreading your buttercream, your crumb coat buttercream, to smooth out the buttercream that was in between your different layers. Once you have all your buttercream that you put on there, you can take a cake scraper and smooth it all out. You can definitely be firm with your pressure here, more firm than you would be during the more decorating process, because again, it's a crumb coat. It's not meant to be super thick because there's going to be a coat of buttercream going over this after this chills. Now, after you smooth it out with a cake scraper, you're going to notice that at the top you've got some frosting coming over the edge, so you can just take an offset spatula and swipe that buttercream towards the center of the top of the cake to smooth out those edges. Now my cake had chilled, as you can see, overnight, because we have some beautiful daylight in the video now. But I had my crumb coat and it chilled overnight, and now I'm ready to put on my decorative layer. So I'm gonna put on kind of some black buttercream around, but I also have my other different colored buttercreams that I'm going to put on there just in a random pattern, and then when you go to use your cake scraper to smooth it out, it'll make a really pretty galaxy design. Now, when you are working on the outermost layer of your buttercream, you want to smooth the top first, because when you use your cake scraper to smooth the sides of the cake, you're gonna get that lip of buttercream at the top, and you just wanna be able to scrape it right off and not scrape the icing or the frosting outwards but inwards. So you want that top to be already smooth so you don't have to keep working on like the edge of the cake there and messing that up, whether the frosting is falling over the sides or coming up on the sides. Now what I'm doing off to the side after every single scrape with my cake scraper and even with my offset spatula is I'm wiping it. Because you have so many different colors of buttercream, you want to wipe it in between so you don't mix the colors, because it can easily become a little too muddy, and that's what you want to avoid with the Galaxy cake because it won't look as pretty. And then here I'm also filling in, you can kind of see it pretty obviously with the black crumb coat on it underneath, is that there's like some holes where the buttercream isn't at, so you can just go in and fill those in with whatever color buttercream wherever you want it to go, depending on your pattern that you're looking for. But again, always scrape that cake scraper after every single scrape of the side to make sure your cake doesn't look muddy. Alright, now that I have my Galaxy cake buttercream looking like what I want it to, I'm going to of course take some edible glitter, because what dessert doesn't need edible glitter, and spray that all over. And then also to get even more of that like star, more apparent star look, I'm taking some dust, some silver decorating dust. I'm gonna mix it, and the one I'm using is from Truly Mad Plastics. I'll link it below. I'm mixing it with some Everclear, and then I'm just gonna splatter it on with a paintbrush, and it's gonna look like stars, and it's gonna look so cool. Now I've got some sprinkle medleys that have little star sprinkles in them, so I'm picking those out to put them right on my buttercream. The buttercream is not so chilled and hard to where I can't press a sprinkle into it, so they're sticking on just fine here. So I'm going to put those all over, and then some other sprinkles as well, because you can never have too many sprinkles. There's a lot of different sprinkle medleys that look like a Galaxy theme. The ones that I'm going to be using are from Sweeta Polita, which I will also link below. I also have some planets that are going on that I made from marbling some modeling chocolate and cutting them out with little circle cutters. And those just stick right on the buttercream, because again, it's not too hard, but it's also not too soft or soupy, so it can stick right on. Now it's time to add the piping. I'm taking more of my black buttercream, and I'm just going to use like a star tip, piping tip here. I'm going to put some pressure, lift up, and then swipe down. And you want to swipe down enough to where you are kind of almost scraping like the top of the cake, but not like really hard, but where your buttercream can kind of trail off as you're ending that first little like hump of frosting. And then you kind of go on top of that and then go to the other one all the way around, and I'm going to do the same pattern on the bottom.
you for watching Cloudy with a Chance of Sprinkles. I hope you enjoyed this video and try out a galaxy cake. See you guys next time.